Hello friends. When fire meets fire, do they burn brighter, or burn each other out? That's the million-dollar question when it comes to a Leo man and a Sagittarius woman. Both bold. Both passionate. Both ruled by fire signs. But can their shared heat sustain a lasting flame, or are they destined to explode like fireworks, dazzling but short-lived? Let's unravel the wild, exciting, and sometimes chaotic compatibility between a Leo man and a Sagittarius woman, diving deep into love, sex, marriage, friendship, and business. Buckle up, this is going to be a ride full of charisma, charm, and maybe just a little chaos. Love, a wildfire that learns to dance. Imagine this, a Leo man strides into the room like a born ruler, his presence undeniable. He's not just noticed, he's felt. There's a quiet authority in his walk, a warmth in his smile, and a hint of drama in every word he speaks. People lean in when he talks. He doesn't just walk in, he arrives. And then, almost like fate wrote the script, in walks the Sagittarius woman. She's not trying to command attention, but she gets it anyway. Her energy is unfiltered and electric. There's an edge to her laugh that makes people curious, and eyes that seem to hold stories from 100 lifetimes, stories she might share, or maybe not. She's freedom wrapped in fire, and Leo notices immediately. Their chemistry is undeniable, not in the subtle, slow burn kind of way, but in the instant flash, fireworks over the ocean kind of way. These two don't stumble into each other. They collide. It's passion at first glance and intrigue at first conversation. Leo, always drawn to beauty and brilliance, is captivated by her unapologetic independence. She doesn't need him, and that's the magnet. Sagittarius sees in Leo a man who's not intimidated by her energy, but energized by it. He's confident without being clingy at least at first, bold without being overbearing, and that Leo fire matches her flame with thrilling precision. But let's be real, fire and fire don't always play nice. The Leo man lives for devotion. He wants to be someone's one and only, the king in someone's kingdom. He thrives on loyalty, admiration, and romantic consistency. Love, to Leo, isn't just an emotion, it's a legacy. Sagittarius, however, is a traveler of the heart. She loves deeply but widely. She seeks intensity, yes, but also expansion. For her, love is not about possession, it's about freedom through connection. She doesn't want to be tamed, and she certainly won't be ruled. And here's where the friction can ignite. Leo may feel threatened by Sagittarius's ever-wandering spirit, not because she's disloyal, but because she's unpredictable. One day she's planning a weekend getaway, the next she's deep in a new passion project. Leo, craving consistency, might read her flexibility as flightiness. Meanwhile, Sagittarius could start to chafe under Leo's need for attention and his sometimes subtle or not so subtle emotional demands. Her instinct is to run from control, and Leo, with his dramatic flair, can sometimes seem like a spotlight that never turns off. Still, something magical happens when they decide to understand each other. When Leo begins to recognize that Sagittarius's independence isn't rejection, it's simply her nature. And when Sagittarius sees that Leo's hunger for admiration is really a deep need to feel cherished and seen, that moment of understanding becomes a turning point. It's where infatuation transforms into intimacy, and passion begins to root itself in trust. Together, they're anything but ordinary. Love between a Leo man and a Sagittarius woman is a journey filled with spontaneous adventures, epic conversations, bold declarations, and a whole lot of laughter. They challenge each other constantly, but it's not the kind of challenge that tears down. It's the kind that builds strength, creativity, and growth. This isn't a calm, peaceful kind of love. It's a dynamic dance, filled with emotional high notes and dramatic turns. They may argue fiercely, but they also love fiercely. And if they can learn to honor their differences, Leo's need for reassurance and Sagittarius's need for freedom, they can become something rare, two individual fires that don't consume each other, but instead light the way forward, together. So, what does it take for this fiery pair to not just fall in love, but stay in love? It takes courage, the courage to be vulnerable for Leo, and the courage to stay when things get deep for Sagittarius. It takes effort, to speak each other's emotional language, to meet halfway without losing their sense of self. And it takes respect, for the fire they both bring, and the unique shape it takes when it burns side by side. When it works brilliantly. They inspire one another. They push each other to dream bigger, live louder, and love more boldly. Their relationship is rarely easy, but it's never boring, and for these two adventurous souls, that might be exactly what makes it perfect. Because at the end of the day, love isn't about finding someone who's just like you, it's about finding someone who makes you more you. And in the passionate blaze between a Leo man and a Sagittarius woman, both can find not just romance, but revelation. They don't just burn, they blaze a path. Sex, explosive chemistry with a side of playfulness. Let's not beat around the bush. When a Leo man and a Sagittarius woman come together, the chemistry is so potent it's practically cinematic. There's a physical magnetism that's impossible to ignore. From the very first touch, there's tension, heat, and a sense that something big is about to happen. This isn't the type of connection that builds slowly, it's spontaneous combustion. A glance becomes a spark. A kiss feels like ignition. And by the time they make it to the bedroom, it's already a 5-alarm fire. Leo, true to his royal archetype, wants sex to feel grand. It's not just physical, it's performative, it's sensual, it's sacred. He puts his whole heart and ego into the experience. He wants to please. He needs to please. And more than anything, he wants to be adored while doing it. For the Leo man, the bedroom is his stage, and he's ready to give the performance of a lifetime, every single time. Enter Sagittarius, unpredictable, curious, and delightfully uninhibited. She brings a wildness that few other signs can match. For her, intimacy is an exploration, not just of bodies but of trust, comfort, and creative expression. She's not here for routine. She's here for surprise, spontaneity, and maybe a little mischief. She doesn't just enjoy sex, she plays with it. Flirting turns into foreplay. Banter becomes seduction. She's a natural at making the moment exciting, and that's exactly what Leo craves, an experience that feels alive. When these two merge in bed, it's not just about lust, though there's plenty of that. It's about energy. Movement. Emotion. Leo brings the drama, slow caresses, eye contact, and that overwhelming desire to create intimacy that lingers long after the lights are out. Sagittarius counters with surprise, changing rhythms, switching roles, pushing limits just far enough to keep things thrilling, but never uncomfortable. They trust each other with their bodies, but also with their creative sides. Sagittarius isn't afraid to suggest something new, and Leo, if his pride isn't too involved, often finds himself saying yes more than he expected. This openness fuels not only satisfaction but a sense of intimacy that transcends the purely physical. They learn each other's rhythms and slowly, they start to improvise together, making every encounter unique. But let's talk needs, because even in a connection this hot, emotional mismatches can throw cold water on the flame. Leo, beneath all that swagger and fire, is surprisingly vulnerable in intimate settings. He needs to feel desired, not just physically but emotionally. He wants to be told that he's doing a good job, that he's attractive, that he's everything his partner dreamed of. If Sagittarius forgets this, if she gets too caught up in the moment without offering those emotional reassurances, Leo might start to retreat or, worse, act out. His ego is deeply entwined with his performance, and while he's giving generously, he needs to receive adoration in return. Sagittarius, on the flip side, doesn't want to get stuck in any one sexual script, even if it's a good one. She craves novelty and may grow restless if the intimacy becomes too predictable or overly emotional. While she absolutely appreciates passion, she doesn't want to feel obligated to deliver emotionally charged experiences every time. Her ideal sexual partner knows how to keep things fun, fresh, and free-flowing, and if Leo becomes overly dramatic or emotionally intense, she may pull away. So, where's the sweet spot? Balance. If Sagittarius can remember to toss in a little flattery now and then, and mean it, she'll keep Leo glowing, literally and figuratively. A few sincere compliments go a long way with the lion. And Leo? He'll benefit immensely from loosening his grip on control and embracing the chaotic fun of Sagittarius's approach to intimacy. Say yes to the impromptu. Laugh when things get silly. Let spontaneity lead for a change. When they're in sync, sex between Leo and Sagittarius is so much more than physical. It's a creative partnership. It's expression. It's healing. And it can become a secret world they share, one filled with laughter, affection, and raw, unfiltered desire. At its best, their physical connection feels like a universe they built together, warm, wild, and always burning. At its worst, it could feel like mismatched tempo, Leo wanting love songs while Sagittarius is vibing to rock and roll. But even then, there's still fire. Still passion. Still the chance to find harmony if both are willing to listen, adjust, and prioritize each other's needs. Because when these two fire signs get it right in bed, it's not just good. It's unforgettable. Marriage, a kingdom or a circus. Marriage between a Leo man and a Sagittarius woman is rarely boring, in fact, that might be the one thing they never argue about. At its core, their union has the potential to be epic, filled with passion, ambition, loyalty, and shared laughter. But whether it becomes a majestic kingdom or a chaotic circus depends entirely on how well they navigate each other's inner worlds. Leo comes into marriage with a sense of grandeur. He doesn't just want a partner, he wants a queen. Someone to rule beside him, dream with him, and stand at his side like a co-star in the great romance of life. Sagittarius? She's a free spirit by nature. She wants love, absolutely, but she wants it to feel like wings, not an anchor. To her, marriage isn't a destination. It's a journey. One that must remain exciting, open, and full of new frontiers to explore. At the beginning of their marriage, the fire burns hot. Their honeymoon phase might feel like a romantic movie montage, laughter over wine, spontaneous road trips, deep talks under the stars. Leo pours himself into creating a home that feels safe and beautiful, while Sagittarius adds spark and spontaneity to their day-to-day rhythm. They're both naturally generous lovers and committed partners when they believe in the relationship. And luckily, they both believe in living life to the fullest. That shared enthusiasm for living big can turn even ordinary days into adventures. But what happens when the dust settles, when the routine sets in, when bills replace butterflies? Here's where their differences start to matter. Leo wants consistency. He thrives in a structure that allows for celebration, romantic gestures, and clear loyalty. He needs verbal affection and regular reminders that he's still the center of his partner's universe. Sagittarius, meanwhile, might struggle with the repetition of married life. She needs to feel that she can evolve within the relationship, that she's not trading personal growth for domestic comfort. The moment marriage starts to feel like a job or a script, she'll begin to question it. This contrast can cause tension. Leo may interpret Sagittarius's independence as emotional distance. He might become more possessive, more dramatic, trying to draw her back in with grand gestures, or guilt. Sagittarius, feeling stifled, might respond with sarcasm, avoidance, or detachment. If unchecked, this loop can create cracks in their bond. But if they stop and really communicate, not from pride, but from vulnerability, they often find their way back to each other. Because at the heart of it, both Leo and Sagittarius want the same thing, a love that inspires, uplifts, and endures. The marriage thrives when they build a structure that honors both fire signs' needs. Leo's need to feel important and valued, and Sagittarius's need to feel free and expanding. That means incorporating rituals of appreciation, handwritten notes, small compliments, regular one-on-one time, while also scheduling adventure, variety, and personal space. Maybe that means separate hobbies, occasional solo travel, or simply weekends where plans are made on the fly. The trick is not to tame Sagittarius or loosen Leo's boundaries, but to let both partners shine in their own right. Parenthood, if it comes into the equation, can bring out surprising strengths. Leo steps up as a protective, devoted father, the kind who shows up to every recital, coaches soccer games, and teaches their kids about honor and pride. Sagittarius, meanwhile, becomes the fun parent, encouraging curiosity, resilience, and open-mindedness. Their household might be louder than average, but it will also be rich in love, wisdom, and life lessons that go far beyond the classroom. Financially, they'll need to communicate clearly. Leo enjoys luxury and generosity, sometimes to the point of excess. Sagittarius isn't materialistic, but she'll happily spend on experiences, and she may be less concerned with long-term planning. Creating a shared vision for financial goals is crucial to avoiding friction. One of them needs to be the grown-up about money, and ideally, they'll take turns. So, is it a kingdom? A circus? Honestly, it might be both, but that's part of the magic. With humor, mutual respect, and an openness to grow together, they can build a marriage that defies tradition in the best possible way. One where loyalty and freedom coexist, where romance is regularly revived, and where both partners feel more alive because of the life they've chosen to share. Because in the end, the Leo man and Sagittarius woman don't want a boring marriage. They want an extraordinary one, and with enough trust, play, and passion, that's exactly what they'll create. Friendship, partners in crime and laughter. If there's one connection where the Leo man and Sagittarius woman truly shine without restraint, it's friendship. No pressure. No rules. No expectations to perform in a relationship, just two bold, brilliant fire signs lighting up every space they walk into together. From the very first laugh they share, it's clear, they've found their kindred spirit. Leo brings the flair, the charisma, the contagious energy of someone who was born to lift the mood of a room. Sagittarius brings the sparkle of wit, a lightning-fast sense of humor, and a perspective that's always just a little outside the box. The result? A magnetic, sometimes chaotic, always unforgettable friendship. These two are the friends who make the most out of everything. Even a Tuesday night grocery run can turn into a mini-adventure. They have an uncanny way of finding fun wherever they go. Spontaneous karaoke? Yes. Impromptu weekend road trip to chase the sunset? Absolutely. Trying some questionable street food in another country and regretting it later? That too. The Leo man thrives on storytelling, and Sagittarius lives for experiences worth telling stories about. It's a match made in memory-making heaven. But beyond the laughs, what truly anchors their friendship is mutual respect. Leo, for all his showmanship, is incredibly loyal. Once he considers someone part of his pride, he protects them fiercely. Sagittarius, while more of a lone wolf on the surface, is deeply loyal to those who get her. She may not always pick up the phone, but if Leo needs her, she's there in a heartbeat. That shared sense of loyalty means they're not just fun companions, but real ones. The kind of friends who will hype each other up before a big event, tell the hard truths when necessary, and still end the night dancing like nobody's watching. Their conversations bounce between ridiculous and profound. One moment they're debating whether aliens exist, the next they're analyzing their deepest fears over tacos. Leo provides a sense of security in their bond, anchoring Sagittarius when she drifts too far off into philosophical abstraction. Sagittarius, in turn, keeps Leo grounded by reminding him not to take everything so seriously, to laugh more, let go more, and see life as the endless journey it really is. They balance each other out without ever dimming each other's light. Jealousy and competition, two things that could poison other friendships, rarely enter the picture here. Why? Because Leo feels seen by Sagittarius in a way that's honest, not performative. He doesn't have to be on with her all the time, she appreciates him whether he's telling a story at a party or just hanging out in sweats. Sagittarius feels safe with Leo, which is rare. She knows he won't try to control her or demand explanations for her need for space. In Leo, she finds someone who celebrates her, not someone who tries to change her. That said, occasional sparks can fly, not romantic ones, necessarily, but fire sign intensity. A disagreement between them might be loud and dramatic, full of grand gestures and overstatements. But just as quickly as it flares up, it fizzles out. Neither holds grudges. Leo can't stand a cold war, and Sagittarius sees no point in dragging out drama. They argue like passionate siblings, and forgive just as easily. What's remarkable is how this friendship doesn't just entertain, it elevates. Leo encourages Sagittarius to believe in herself even more boldly, to take her dreams and turn them into something tangible. Sagittarius challenges Leo to think deeper, to travel beyond the ego and into authenticity. They grow, not in spite of each other's differences, but because of them. And while the world may not always understand their connection, they do. They're the inside joke kind of friends. The remember that time kind of friends. The ones who cheer for each other the loudest, who show up for the weird, the wild, and the wonderful. Even if romance never enters the picture, and sometimes it won't, this friendship is more than enough. It's rare, it's real, and it's resilient. In a world full of surface-level connections, the friendship between a Leo man and a Sagittarius woman is something else entirely. It's a bond forged in laughter, strengthened by trust, and carried by fire. Business, the dreamer and the doer. In the world of business, the partnership between a Leo man and a Sagittarius woman can be nothing short of electric. It's the kind of duo that doesn't just start companies, they spark movements. These two fire signs bring intensity, passion, and a relentless drive to break boundaries and leave a mark. But what makes them so powerful together isn't just their ambition, it's how their very different strengths create a perfect, if sometimes volatile, balance of vision and execution. Leo is the embodiment of leadership. He knows how to walk into a boardroom and command attention without saying a word. He's confident, articulate, and magnetic, the kind of person others naturally follow. In business, Leo thrives in roles that let him make bold decisions, rally a team, and take credit for big wins. And he doesn't just want to succeed, he wants to win with style. He's the ultimate brand ambassador, the pitch-perfect salesman, the motivator who gets people excited about a shared goal. Meanwhile, Sagittarius brings something entirely different to the table, imagination. She sees 10 steps ahead, or sideways, always looking for the uncharted route. She's the one asking, why not, when everyone else is asking, why? In meetings, she'll toss out wild ideas that sound crazy at first, but later turn out to be genius. She doesn't just think outside the box, she questions why there's even a box in the first place. Sagittarius is a visionary and a risk-taker, someone who thrives on innovation, disruption, and limitless possibility. Together, they can be unstoppable, as long as they remember they're playing on the same team. Leo, with his love for structure, timelines, and performance metrics, can help Sagittarius ground her ideas into something real. He knows how to take a raw concept and turn it into a polished, pitch-ready masterpiece. He makes things happen. Sagittarius, on the other hand, pushes Leo to think bigger. She challenges him not to settle for the safe path, to stay curious, and to constantly evolve. She reminds him that true success isn't just about appearances, it's about impact. The synergy can be exhilarating. Think Leo as the bold CEO who leads with passion, and Sagittarius as the maverick creative director who redefines what's possible. They'll brainstorm over coffee at midnight, launch something wild by sunrise, and already be dreaming up version 2.0 before the week is out. Their energy feeds off each other in a way that few other sign pairings can match. When they're aligned, they don't just build a brand, they create a movement. But it's not all smooth sailing. Their differences, while powerful, can also be a source of conflict. Leo likes control. He wants clear roles, defined goals, and decision-making authority. If he starts to feel like Sagittarius is too all over the place, throwing out too many ideas without follow-through, he may get frustrated and try to take over. Sagittarius, however, values autonomy more than anything. If she starts to feel boxed in or micromanaged, she'll pull back, or worse, bolt. She needs the freedom to explore, experiment, and sometimes fail in order to thrive. Their work styles can clash too. Leo is a closer, a finisher. He wants things done and done right. Sagittarius is a starter, a brainstormer. She's brilliant in the early phases but may lose interest once execution takes over. Without clear communication, this can lead to tension. Leo might feel like he's doing all the heavy lifting, while Sagittarius feels creatively stifled. So what's the fix? Trust and boundaries. When Leo steps back and lets Sagittarius explore without judgment, he often ends up with ideas that expand the entire vision of the business. When Sagittarius acknowledges Leo's need for structure and respects his leadership, she gains a partner who can turn her ideas into something concrete and successful. It's about honoring each other's brilliance, not trying to reshape it. They also thrive when they carve out clearly defined roles. Let Leo lead the pitch, the strategy meetings, the investor calls. Let Sagittarius lead the innovation lab, the long-term planning, the brand voice. Give each other space to shine, and they will. If nurtured with mutual admiration and clear communication, their business partnership can become one of those legendary collaborations people talk about for years. Think co-founders of a disruptive startup that redefines an industry. Think best-selling author and publicist duo. Think non-profit visionaries changing the world with bold ideas and fierce execution. Because when the dreamer and the doer trust each other, challenge each other, and cheer each other on, they're not just good business partners. They're a creative force that doesn't just ride the wave, they make the wave. Final thoughts: fire that learns to flow. So, what's the verdict? A Leo man and Sagittarius woman are like a wildfire that, with care, becomes a controlled burn, powerful, transformative, and capable of creating something entirely new. They're not the most textbook perfect pair, but who wants boring compatibility anyway? This relationship is about growth through fire, about passion tempered with trust, and about learning to dance through the heat instead of running from it. They challenge each other. They inspire each other. And if they can meet in the middle, between Leo's need for consistency and Sagittarius's craving for freedom, they can write a love story that's anything but ordinary. After all, when two fire signs find balance, they don't just burn, they illuminate. Would you dare to love like that? Want more deep dives into astrology, relationships, and what makes people click? Hit that like button, subscribe for more cosmic insights, and don't forget to check the links in the description for our socials, bonus content, and updates on the next video drop.